Good morning, everybody. How's everyone doing today? Stop the music real quick. Welcome to another episode of Bipolar Real Talk. Now, I know. I said that these were going to be more frequent, but the only problem is I work a lot, so I really very rarely have time. Excuse me. Um, anything beyond work and sleep and take care of stuff in the house. Um, so yeah, with that being said, I apologize for not having been here sooner and then later. Um, updates. Mentally, I'm still doing pretty good. A lot of self discovery. A lot of self discovery. A lot of discovering things that I didn't know about myself before. Not only that, discovering things that I don't like about other people. And I realized that I surrounded myself with a bunch of the shit that I don't like back then, seeking this acknowledgement, I guess is the word. And let me fix the mic because for whatever strange reason, it's not picking up. Hello, hello, mic, hello. What's going on here? Don't know why you're not working. It's look like it, to say the least. Is it not on? What the fuck is it? Sorry. Like I said, it's been a while, so I'm a little bit rusty on things, and I'll fix that momentarily. And there we go. Okay, so now we're good. Anyway, yeah, so I found that I was surrounding myself with people that, for lack of a better word, were damaged, right? Damaged goods. Goods that I wouldn't accept if I wasn't in this broken state of mind. And I'm not saying that I'm better than anybody. You know what I mean? Except for those that I know I'm better than because they're not doing anything with themselves. They're just wastes of space in human existence. Like child molesters and rapists and things of that nature. But, I've come a long way from, let's say, a year ago, or 2 years ago, or 3 years ago. But a long way from those small intervals of time. As everyone knows, I'm no longer a user of hard drugs. Those things are out of my life now. I don't even smoke marijuana. Oh, I'm probably gonna start smoking just because I want to smoke some weed. God damn it, shit. I come up with a reason for it. That's the reason. I want to smoke some weed. I like the way it makes me feel. It's not addictive. I haven't smoked in ages, almost a year now. Haven't drank since September 8th, so I've been sticking to that. You know what I'm saying? And there's not a day that goes by that I miss it. Excuse me, my allergies have been fucking with me. Fucking all day yesterday and today. But I find that I don't tolerate certain stuff anymore, right? And certain things that didn't bother me before bother me now, and things that bothered me before don't bother me now. One case in point is my children. It used to annoy the shit out of me. Like, I had no patience whatsoever with them. The younger ones, the older ones, I was just a dick. But, the younger ones, and you think you're being a parent, and you realize you're not being a parent, at least not as much as you should be. And kids have a way of letting you know these things without saying it. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're real good at that. But anyway, back to, what I was saying about my journey mentally and the things that I've learned about myself. So I don't like ignorant people. I don't like lazy people. And I really don't like petty people. I can't stand any of those people. Right? I don't like people who like nitpick for no apparent reason. I don't like people who like to put people down simply because they think in their mind some delusion of grandeur that has them believing that they're somehow better than other people. I don't like unbased arrogance. Like, if you're gonna be arrogant because of some good reason to be arrogant. Don't just be arrogant simply because you think you're the shit. You're not the shit. Nobody's the shit unless they're the shit. And not to say that nobody's the shit. I'm the shit. Why am I the shit? Why do I, for probably the first time in a very long time, do I feel confident enough to say that yes, I'm the shit? Well, I've accomplished a lot of things in the past couple of years. A lot of things. One of those being staying clean and sober. Getting a handle on this thing right up here. Realizing that as powerful as it was in a destructive way for me, it's 10 times more powerful when put to positive use. When put to, creative use. Done a lot of art lately. Been working with, different artists from all over the world. Israel, Scotland, Asia. Well, Asia's not a country, but from the region of Asia. I can't remember the country that a particular person is from. Different places in America, And I've been enjoying it, doing the art, doing the music for the art. It's been fun. Way to express myself in different ways beyond just doing music. I play my little Mech Warrior game. Pretty much this is how my day works, right? I wake up usually somewhere between, let's say, 9 o'clock and 12:30. And then I go maybe cook dinner before I go to work. Sometimes I don't. Then I go to work for 10 hours. A very physically demanding job where it's very fast paced. There's not a lot of downtime. You've got a couple of breaks, but for the most part, it's balls to the wall, just doing what you got to do. And I love it. I fucking love it. I love hard work. And you would think with all the hard work, I'd come home after 10 hours and just come here and pass out. Nah, I'm usually up until about 5 o'clock in the morning, grab like 4 hours of sleep, and then I get back up and I do it again. And every day when I wake up, I do the same thing. I find that if I make myself a creature of habit, good habits, that they stick longer. And it helps me to keep from doing things that are negative and aren't going to do anything in the sense of bringing me any closer to what it is that I want out of life. What do I want out of life? For the first time in a long time, I have this clarity of vision of what exactly it is that I want out of life right now. I'm going to share that with you. I want a better life for me and my sons. Actually, all my children, but my 2 youngest sons are the ones that are with me out here. So I want a better life for us. A better life. And I don't mean monetarily or materially. I mean emotionally, psychologically. I want them to have a better life. And I know that part of what I went through and what I put them through when I was, at probably one of the worst points in my entire life, it weighed on them heavy. I can see the damage that it's done to my 15-year-old especially. You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking forward to the day when the only way I can explain it is him just breathing easy, like taking that deep breath, like I can live. My dad's not gonna flip the fuck out. He's not gonna disappear for months on end. He's not gonna spaz out about craziness. He's not drinking. He's not hiding and doing drugs. He's dad now. And I'm looking forward to being able to spend time with them, quality time with them, just being a dad and having his kids. And that is what I want out of my life. I don't care about anything else. I already have a job. So, I'm not worried about that. And I've already been promoted. So it's not like the only way I'm going to fuck that up is if I fuck that up. You know, and I am not one to fuck up shit anymore that I know is beneficial to me, and that job is beneficial. And in fact, I'm going to stop calling it a job because I truly do intend on making it a career because I like what I do and I want to learn more about the process of what it is that I do, from the logistics end, from the lab end, from the science end of it. I want to know all of it. I want to know as much of it as I possibly can to make myself as indispensable as possible. And everyone's always replaceable, but at some point in time, they weigh certain things. And I want to be the guy that they're looking at like, you know what, getting rid of him is like getting rid of 5 people because he knows a lot of stuff and he can do a lot of stuff. And he's not bitching and moaning about wanting more money necessarily because he's doing more stuff. Understand this. I'm about my money. Don't get me wrong. And I want to be paid what I'm worth. But if I'm comfortable with what I'm getting and I'm already offering to do more work without the pay, because obviously I want to learn shit, do I really need more money to do more work? Or that's what people want to tell you. You're entitled to more money because you're doing more work. But if you volunteer to do the work, then you shouldn't be paid for it. And that's the way I feel about it. People be like, well, then don't volunteer. And then you don't learn. And then you just become that replaceable, dispensable person that they don't think about, because there's a bunch of you that do just that, right? But if I do just that, and this, I feel that I'm a better candidate for longevity. See, I'm looking at longevity. I don't need the big pay bump now. It's nice to have, but I want to know that I'm going to be able to make what I make now in the foreseeable future. At least for 10 years. Whether I stay there in that position for 10 years, of course not. That's not my intention. It's not my intention at all. I was promoted within 2 months of being there. So if I continue on the path that I'm on, which is just to work the way I work, which is no more or less than I would anywhere else, this is going to give me the opportunity to then look at properly starting my business with hot sauce or whatever other business venture I decide. You know what I'm saying? Because where I'm at, the possibilities are endless. Like literally, it's the land of milk and honey. If you know where to find it or are willing to work for it. And I'm not saying to anybody, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. For some people, they're not capable of doing so because they have no boots to pull the straps up with. So don't think of me saying this as me trying to tell you you're lazy. Unless you are lazy, then you're fucking lazy and get off your ass and do something about it. But I'm talking about those who don't want to do anything, but they want things to be done in a way that would cost money, but they don't want to work for the money. I have no respect for those people whatsoever. You're lazy, entitled fucking pieces of shit. You're like a nasty boil on the bottom of a nutsack. You're just there. You're irritating. And eventually you'll have to be lanced or removed for the rest of the body to be comfortable. Now, am I saying we should kill lazy people? I'm not saying it. Thinking it. I'm just joking. I'm not thinking about that. I just was trying to be funny there. Add a little humor. Obviously, that joke probably didn't go over too well to the jackasses that are sitting on their couches right now. Like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? And fucking killing lazy people. Fucking go kill him. Well, you would have to get up off your ass in order to do that. And if you're lazy, you're not going to find the time to. So I'm safe from lazy people anyway. Too much effort. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Right. It's vision. It's clarity of vision. Sees me and my sons in our own space. In our own space. Ours. One that we can live and pursue our dreams. Because any dream is attainable if you work hard enough for it. Or just have talent. Or just tenacity and perseverance. You're persistent. That's one thing that I've learned. Obviously, that I've always been is extremely persistent, right? Once I have a hold of something, I'm like a fucking pit bull. I'm not letting it go. And one of the things that being clear-minded has done for me is allowed me to focus, which has always been one of my biggest flaws, is not being able to focus on one thing at a time. I'll have like 25 ideas in my head, and I'll try to like work on all of them at once and get absolutely nowhere on any of them. You know what I mean? Like with the whole hot sauce thing, and the t-shirt thing, and the clothing company thing, and the jewelry company thing. There's all these things that I could have done had I focused and built them properly and moved on. It's like jumping in a fucking pool and you don't know how to swim, and you leave the flotation devices on the top. I don't know what the fuck is in the air right now, but jeez, just sneezing my ass off. Anyway, right? So, I guess I can kind of share the plan with you, and just in a small scale. I'm not going to get into too much detail, you know what I'm saying? I want to keep these things under wraps until I see them at least in their beginning stages, so that I can know that they're happening. One of my problems in the past was always getting ahead of myself. I'll have an idea in my head, and there'll be steps to this idea, right? I'll have it all mapped out perfectly well in my head. I'll even write the shit the fuck down. And then I'll skip like 20 steps and jump straight to the end of it. Like, fuck all that shit. But, dude, you are the one that wrote it down. Yeah, I know I wrote it down, but I don't care. I'm going to go to this part because this is the most fun part. This part is the part that's supposed to be the part that starts making the money part. So let's do this part first. No. I've been patient. A lot of people are probably like, well, what is he fucking talking about in general, period? Being patient about what? For instance, right, branding or building a brand. Right? Everybody knows my channel is No Order Without Chaos. My Instagram is No Order Without Chaos. My email, No Order Without Chaos. The name of one of my underground albums from about 12 years ago, No Order Without Chaos. So No Order Without Chaos has been not just something that sounded cool, because it didn't sound cool to me when I said it. It just sounded real, that there is no order without chaos. And that is my brand. Brand, you say? Yes, brand. No Order Without Chaos is a brand. I'm branding it. I have been now probably the past 2 years. And what does that mean exactly? For those of you who do not understand branding, marketing, and advertising and shit, branding is to associate a particular service or product with a particular title or icon or fucking mascot. There is no mascot to No Order Without Chaos. There's a symbol, which is just an 8-pointed star and can change depending on how my mood is. But No Order Without Chaos is me. I'm my brand. And this sounds very self-centered, doesn't it? Of course it does. But it should be, right? Because who knows me better than me? Me. Maybe a few people I let in, which I'm not around any of those people anymore, so nobody knows who I am except for me. And maybe my sons. Yeah, my sons. But what that means is, as a brand, as me being this brand, or representing this brand, it allows me the flexibility to do many things under one brand. Because it's no order without chaos. So it's expected that there will be several different venues within said umbrella, right? Of course, if you're familiar with my Instagram channel or page or whatever the fuck they call it, I do a lot of things. I do little comedy skits, and some of the stories that I do here on YouTube, I'll post little snippets of it there. I do my art, I do my music, I do little cooking shows from time to time, or share what I'm cooking. I do reviews, Me and my sons occasionally will buy snacks we've never had before or sodas we've never tried, and we'll taste them. It's called tasting the world. So what I'm saying is there's a broad spectrum of things that can be expected from the world without chaos. And everything will come under that label eventually, you know. And it'll allow me to encompass quite a few things into one thing so I can have a better handle on it. Now, when I first started it, I've always been branding No Order Without Chaos, but I had absolutely no idea what I was going to do with it in general, right? Like, I had no idea because I was manic as fuck and couldn't really think straight, you know? Couldn't think straight at all. But now that I haven't been manic, and I don't think I've been manic or even had an episode of mania. Wait a minute. It was one. Very short one, though. It lasted like maybe a day, maybe 2 days. I've had more depression lately than actual, like, mania. And there's an actual reason. Well, there was, because I haven't been depressed in a while. There's been reasons behind, you know, what triggers my depression. I know exactly what that is, and I'm slowly but surely removing that from my life because it's not good for me. One of the things I learned is that there's healthy selfishness and there's unhealthy selfishness. And the difference between the two, at least as I understand it, is unhealthy selfishness was the type of selfishness that I was exhibiting when I was doing drugs and drinking and just doing what I felt like doing. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, I was always sharing everything else, but I wasn't sharing the right things with the right people. You know, befriending idiots and jackasses, bums, and just people who didn't have any motivation to do anything else but sit around and wait for things to happen for them. And when they didn't, they want to flip the fuck out. Crazy people, like literally crazy people, thinking I could fix them. Or it was just because the more fucked up people that were around me, the better I looked. Just selfish. And it's unhealthy selfishness. I've learned that healthy selfishness is a much better approach to life. What do you mean by selfishness in a healthy sense? Well, by not making yourself accessible to every person. Limiting the amount of friends you have. I don't have very many friends. In fact, I can count all the friends that I have here on one hand. And there's 5 people in this place that I consider friends. One is a gentleman that I work with, who I've had the occasion to spend some time out of work when I'm getting a ride home, and met the family and shit. Well, not the whole entire family, but met, you know, his significant other and her mother or his mother-in-law. And they're pretty cool people. You know what I'm saying? They're pretty cool people. And I'm not saying they're cool people because they've done anything for me, because I pay for my ride, so it's not like it's doing it for free. You know what I'm saying? There's an arrangement there. But beyond the arrangement, you know, we've clicked. And at first, like, unlike what I normally do, which is I'm seeking, like, friends and acknowledgement and shit, I wasn't seeking friends or acknowledgement. Quite frankly, exact opposite. Being as much of a dick as I could to most people to keep people from trying to be friendly and shit. But, you know, he didn't accept that. So, you know, we become somewhat friends. And we'll hopefully become better friends, because at least one friend is what I need out here. I don't need a whole bunch of them, just one. One's enough. It's too small of a place where I'm at now that, you know, shit travels very quickly because there's not a lot of people whose ears it has to pass through. So you say something about somebody somewhere, which I'm not the type of person that does that. Anything that I say to people since I've been here, I say directly to their fucking faces, because I don't want them to think the wrong thing. And what do you mean by the wrong thing? For instance, at work, I don't like to do a whole lot of talking while I'm working. You want to talk when we're on break? That's all well and good. There's a couple of people who like to talk, talk, talk while working. And when they're talking, they're not working. And if I'm working, and you should be working, but you're too busy talking, I'm going to let you know about that. Now, the old me, or the damaged me, or more damaged, because I'm always going to be damaged, but I'm just less broken, I should say. Always damaged, but less broken. But the broken me would have not said anything, would have just accepted this person yammering on about shit and just like humor them. You know what I mean? What's the other? Placate. I don't do that anymore. Now, I still don't like to have a lot of confrontation with people, so I avoid it like the plague. Because one of the things that I've noticed since I've been straight and my mind has been right is I have a very low tolerance for certain types of people. And they just aggravate me. One of them is people who get high and drunk and come to work. And I know what you're thinking. You used to probably do the same thing as an addict and an alcoholic. Yes, I did. Which is why I don't like seeing it around me. Not because I'm afraid I'm going to go back doing it, because trust me, there is nothing that would make me trade what I've accomplished and what I'm trying to accomplish to go back to being that broken ass person that I was. Having looked at some of the things that I wrote during that time period, some of the videos that I recorded during that time period, my old Instagram channel, I'm just looking at the ranting and raving and the basically watching a person have a fucking complete and total meltdown over the course of a year. And it's difficult to watch sometimes, I remember my son was asking me the other day, he's like, how come you never wear a mustache anymore? How come you're not mustache dad? I was like, bad memories from being mustache dad. So I don't want to be mustache dad, as he puts it. Love my youngest son. Love all my children. My youngest son, though, he's just different in the sense that he's a lot like I was when I was a kid. Adventurous, curious, inquisitive, non-stop energy. He just wants to do and learn and absorb and create. And I love watching him, do stuff. And me and him have a blast. Like, he be cracking up over some shit, and his laughter makes me laugh. Now, his older brother, my older son, not the oldest one, but the older one, the middle boy. Yeah, the middle boy. He's starting to, come out of his shell a little bit. But I can understand why he's in one. I can understand it, and I don't blame him. In fact, a couple of days ago, just having a nice talk to him, I apologized to him for putting him through a lot of hell. A lot of hell. So I don't expect him to forgive me overnight. He may never forgive me at all. But at least he knows that I am truly and honestly, sincerely sorry for the pain that I caused him. I think as parents, a lot of times we feel like we shouldn't have to apologize because we're the parent. Sometimes you do have to apologize. Sometimes you have to step down off your parental horse and say, hey, you know what, I fucked up. And I'm sorry. And you just pray they accept it. If they don't, you can't be mad at them as much as you may want to be. And I hate when parents throw shit that they do for their kids in their faces, as if the kids really, understand what it is to be a parent. Of course they don't. They're fucking kids. You think I understood it when I was a fucking kid? No, I used to talk shit to my parents all the time. Not talk shit to them directly, in the sense of me running my mouth with foul language. But, I always had questions and shit. Oh, why do I have to do this? You know, because we said so. Well, that's not good enough for me. I want to know why exactly. Like, why? Why can't I jump off the top of this railing? Because we told you not to. Well, I'm going to jump off of it anyway and then, get fucked up. And you're, oh, God. That's why we told you not to jump off the fucking railing. Get it now? You understand? Yeah, that's what I love. One thing about my parents was that, for the most part, I suffered consequences for a lot of my actions. You know, in fact, they were introduced to me at a young age. You do something you're not supposed to do, there are consequences. Now, I wasn't abused. Not in my opinion. Spanking's a spanking. I was never beaten, well, not by my father and mother anyway. I was never beaten badly. It's like 4 lashes. Whap, 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 whap. Get out of the bathroom. Go on about your day. Of course, you were going to have a terrible day the rest of the fucking day because you just got your ass whooped. You don't want to have fun anymore. Now you're mad at everybody. Your little brother comes over there. He wants to play with you. He sees your stage. I gotta get away from me. Shit. Just got my ass whooped. Fuck you. I don't want to play. And you do. But you don't want to now because you're too busy being mad. So, I seen a lot of things growing up that, my father would do and say and things. I'm like, I would never say that stuff to my fucking kids. Please. And then I find myself now saying the same exact things, like almost word for word to my kids. And that's a good thing to me because it goes to show something that my father had that kind of impact on my life that subconsciously I want to be like my dad. And consciously. The only 2 men I ever seen as role models or idols or heroes in my entire life were my grandfather and my father. No other man even comes close. There's no other men in my life that I give 2 fucks about. None. I know that sounds mean, but it's not mean. I mean, from a standpoint of looking up to, wanting to be like, there's no other man. My dad and my grandfather were enough. They were my grandfather was one of the strongest men I ever met in my life, mentally and physically. Same with my father, and considering all the stuff that he's been through, all the health issues that he's dealt with, and it just seems to roll off his fucking back like water off a duck. I'm just like, wow, like, I come from this. This is in my DNA to survive. And not only survive, but to strive while surviving. And to not look at it as some negative thing. Oh, you're struggling. No, I'm not struggling at all. Am I where I want to be right now? No, of course not. But I'm not struggling. It just takes some adjusting and moving and careful planning and putting your chips where they're supposed to be and moving your pieces on the board like you have to. And I know that I'll get where I have to go. I have an analytical mind. I analyze a lot of things. Think about a lot of things. Constantly trying to figure out ways to make life better for me and my children. And of course, the first thing most people think of when it comes to making their children's lives better is more money. No, not that I don't want more money. Don't get me wrong. Because with more money, I can do more things. But I can do just as many things without money. Will they be as fun? Probably. I don't like to spend a lot of money on entertainment anyway, if I can help it. Didn't get any sleep last night, so that's kind of why my whole affect is slow the way it is. Plus, I'm a little sore. And then, that whole allergy shit. Fucking allergies fucking with me. But anyway, back to the whole habit routine thing. Every morning or afternoon when I wake, I pray to my God. It may not be the same God as yours, but I love my God. My God loves me. How do I know this? Because my God helps me. It guides me. Doesn't do for me. It shows me how I could do something. Presents the options. Provides the light you know? And it's up to me to see it come to fruition. God, I'm tired. Like, you ever be sitting around and then, like, a whole bunch of shit hits you all at once? Like being tired? Yeah. I had bill collectors calling me this week from some fucking bullshit from, like, past the statute of limitations, threatening to fuck with my money, basically. Is what they did. Threatened to do. They can't do that because, you know, I'm a lot smarter than they are. They're jackasses. You're gonna call somebody from a business that you say that you are when you're not. Make sure you block your number or something. You know? Or change the voicemail. Calling companies back and blah, 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 blah. I'm tired. I want to lay down. I'm going to go to sleep. Anyway, let's move on to something else, shall we? Okay, good. I plan on starting a series of shorts. Because I do these little commercials on Instagram where basically I'm making fun of certain industries and products. I did one the other day. Excuse me. I couldn't even finish it because I just started laughing hysterically. And I'll tell you what the premise was. I was sitting around. I was like, I'm doing those old, like, you know, club commercials. So, you know, I did a little club commercial. And I ended up saying something that made me crack up laughing because in my head, when I'm telling stories, even though I don't write them down ahead of time, as I'm telling them, I'm visualizing it in my head. Like, I'm seeing, or it just visualizes on its own, materializes on its own. But anyway, right? I forgot my train of thought now. Like, I'm really tired. I should probably get some sleep. Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me. I know it's been a while. Hopefully, it won't be another long while before you see me again, because I like to, you know, do what I like to do, which is tell stories and shit. So maybe tonight I might tell one, but there's no definitive proof that I'm going to. So if you tune in, thank you very much. If you don't tune in, well, thank you very much. Have a great day, people.